Alrighty, hey, joining me today is my buddy Joe. Joe, say hi.
Hey, what's going on?
So a little backstory here. We're gonna be covering. We're gonna do something a little fun. Normally, I just stream my art, put up art tutorials and stuff, but I'm trying to bring back the podcast. I just don't feel like talking about world events or movies and stuff because I'm busy drawing secret projects. I'm working on a comic book series for a publisher that hasn't been announced yet. So I thought, hey, you know what? Joe and I are spending all our time watching Comics Kayfabe talk about comics. You should go check them out too. And I am a keen Kayfaber. I do subscribe to their Patreon. I figure I got comics. Why don't we talk about that stuff instead? And Joe, we met what I want to say back in 2001,
2000,
right?
yeah.
2001. I was in Germany in 2000 for certain.
Oh,
But
pre 9/11, yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, by a couple months. But yeah, we're pre 9/11 by like 4 months. But we met. Joe, you worked at a comic book shop when we first met. So
Yep, Action City.
Yeah, Action City in Lakeside, California. Also, if you don't know, the comic book artist Pete Woods, he was pretty big in that shop too. He's friends with the owner and a whole thing. Anyway, but what I wanted to talk about was Danger Girl issue 1, the Danger Sized Edition. Now, Joe, have you been aware of this Danger Sized Edition version of Danger Girl?
No, I didn't know they made that. It's
Well, you aren't a real Danger Girl fan then, Joe, because if you had owned the Danger Girl preview book like I got, right? And you had actually read to the very end, on the last panel it says, ask your local comic book shop how you can get the exclusive Danger-sized edition of Danger Girl 1, shipping in March of 98. Yeah, I wanted this so bad. And at Action City in 1998, that shop was owned by a man named Pat Duffy. Pat's a really good dude. And I told him I wanted this. And then I left town in June of 98, but I was busy. I joined the army. And so I didn't have a chance to pick this up from Pat. Instead, when I got stationed in Germany, I found this overseas. And there was a comic book shop in Frankfurt, Germany named Terminal. They had 3 different terminals, I want to say. So I picked this up. They had an English section of comics. This is it's not quite 11 by 17. It's 9 by 14. That's the Danger Size. It's weird. I've never seen a comic book published 9 by 14. Have you?
Yeah,
I know, it's such odd. I mean,
bigger than 11 by 17 folded in half.
It's pretty big. But let's look at some differences here, right? So right off the bat, you can see this is darker.
Just saturated colors, looks like.
Yeah. So like this has more of like a vibrant whatever. This is darker. But it is the full comic, just printed big Danger size. This is pretty crazy. Now, the thing about Danger Girl issue 1 is it opens up with this previously in Danger Girl, right? As if like this comic book kind of existed before issue 1. And it did, because that's what this preview thing is here. I got this up. I got this in, I want to say December or January 97. This was like this preview issue. And this is a full little story.
One time ago.
I do think this is collected in the trade paperback, right? This is kind of fun, though. In the back was a Danger Girl sketchbook. And this is the first time I ever saw them like fake, like, this has got to be J. Scott Campbell, where they sort of fake like a sketchbook.
Yeah, he does a lot of that kind of stuff in a lot of his sketchbooks. To a lot of the analog style stuff.
Yeah, but did you ever see this in like 97? Like, no one was doing like this kind of thing, right? Like, nobody was. But these are pretty dope ass sketches. Agent Zero, his little Snake Eyes character. And look, he's already got sketches of all the bad guys. They're in here. And some preview pages. If you can see these are pretty dope.
I remember staring at those for a while.
Yeah, you were like,
I saw
like that, and then I got to draw like this. Like 4 up. It's crazy, man. Like, his roughs here are 4 up on an 11 by 17, and they're better than most people's freaking comics, dude. It's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. And then there's a little interview with Jeff and Andy Hartnell, the writer. Nothing really big here, just Like, what do you like? We like Star Wars and G.I. Joe
You
and
know,
Indiana Jones.
my favorite of Campbell's art is usually when it's inked by Garner. Sorry,
Alex Garner.
I think they were a great pairing.
Yeah, yeah. I really love this like advertisement with the awesome
Yeah, it's like a
text and
trailer.
stuff. Yeah, and there's a little like cartoon Jim Lee. Right, right
Mm-hmm.
on, homies. Right, I think that's Andy Hartnell, but I've never seen Andy Hartnell, but I think that's supposed to be Andy Hartnell right there.
Yeah, I don't know if that is. Probably though. I mean, circle of friends, you know.
Yeah, J.
I
Scott
do know that
Campbell.
on page 1 that bigger guy in the actual issue that's
Okay.
Scott Dumbier. I know that for a fact. Yeah, that's a
He looks kind of like you now
that's the likeness.
without the goatee. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is printed on like this paper's like it's the matte paper. I actually really like it. It's not as I'm not a big fan of the big glossy stuff. But,
That's the same. Is that the same like the Max issues, the early ones with that textury?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it like absorbs the ink really well.
yeah.
It just has a cool feel.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the like in Spawn issue 10 is when they switched over to like or 9 was it 9? It might have been 10, but I think 9 it was the Angela issue where they shipped over to like glossy paper. You know, I guess like Steve
Like
Oliff
this
is
is
the guy who,
like a step up from, or a couple step ups from newsprint, right? Like newsprint's shoddy, but
yeah. When Pat Duffy at the comic shop at Action City, he was friends again with Pete Woods when Pete started working at Wildstorm, and so Pat's telling me this. I don't know if it's true or not, but he would tell me like Jim Lee hated this kind of paper. Like, it looks dark, and look, it looks brighter here because I've tried to adjust the lighting the best I can. It's a little darker in real life than what you see on screen. But man, I gotta tell you, these #1 issues of Dangerous is pretty fucking dope, dude. Like,
dude, the pacing, like the action, everything is all cinematic. Like he really sat down and like studied some shit to like that boat scene where it's just like flies through and then jumps over. So sick.
Right. Hey, Brandon.
Yeah.
You enjoying the video so far?
Always.
Well, did you know I have a YouTube channel with like 1,000 other videos?
1,000?
Like, sadly so, I think. I just wanted to remind everyone out there watching the show. Just if you check out the rest of the Sketchcraft channel, you can see that I got art. I got art tips. We got speed vids with audio commentary. I walk through my art. If you do color pencil, if you do watercolor, you do pen and ink, you do digital. I got it all. I got art tips, right? I got like perspective, digital inking tips. I also have 1,000 real-time live streams. So if you ever see me working on something and you're like, hey, how did I let's go check this out, Brandon. Let's go see me.
Yeah.
Here's me recently doing the Apocalypse commission, right? Doing a little marker rendering here.
All right.
It's a little inking going on there. You can see me inking, right? I think you were there that night.
I was there.
Yeah,
I was chatting with you.
Yeah. So you can always come back and go, how did you, I want to do that. How did he do it? And you can see right in real time, you know, if you can dig in there. Now, Brandon, we don't expect everyone to watch these videos all the way through for hours and hours, but it is a free resource. Just sitting there waiting to be discovered, right, Brandon?
If it's free, it's for me. That's what I say.
Right. Also, Brandon and I, for years we did a podcast. I want to say like 4 or 5 years. All those are in there too. If you ever want to hear Brandon and I just wax poetic about whatever. And then I also did a podcast from 2010 to 2014 with tons of like career help things. So if you're like, Rob, I need some career guidance and help and I don't know, all that other bullshit, go check that out there because yes. I don't really like helping people anymore. Right, Brandon? Like,
not at all.
Not at all. Is there anything that you appreciate on the old
I appreciate that there's 1,000 of it and it's free, that I don't have to pay for it, I don't have to do anything crazy, that it's all here. And if I want to be like, hey man, how do I use a Copic marker? Bam. How do I use some watercolor? Bam.
I'm not against giving me money, so right here, right at the top, you can click that little link, go to kofi.com/sketchcraft, give me some money, I'll go buy a coffee.
Ooh,
Or if you go to
okay.
shopsketchcraft.com, you can buy a print when I have them up. Right now, the store is closed for the winter, but in spring, we'll open back up and we'll have prints in there. You can get all that stuff, right? But other than that, go check out the YouTube channel. All right, Brandon, let's get back to the show.
Let's go.
All right, so had a little technical glitch there, so we fixed that. Yeah, so when I found this, I was sort of hoping it would be black and white. This was before the concept of an artist edition ever hit me, But it is just a full issue.
God, man, I hope they make one of those. I don't know if they ever will. Maybe IDW will, but or maybe they have. I haven't seen it, but man, that'd be a sick freaking artist edition.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of shocked that. I mean, financially, it's first off, it's staple bound, so like, it's nice because you can lie it flat, exactly like a comic, Just kind of surprised this sort of oversized edition. I mean, I get why it didn't take off. I mean, retailers probably are like, where the fuck are we gonna put this? I remember just sitting like on a shelf.
Dude, the Rusty and Big Guy and Rusty the Boy Robot was staple bound, and it was fucking huge.
Yeah, to get an idea, I mean, it gobbles up, It's pretty dope, dude. I like it because it feels, this feels like an IMAX, screen.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you're looking at it, you're like, oh, damn. Yeah, I really like the way Scott Campbell was drawing the girls for the first 2 issues or so. Like, they were more rounder.
Yep.
Like, more Disney-like in the face. I really liked it. And then by the 3rd issue, I don't know, they get
really
more
expressive. His face is, man.
Yeah, I mean, who else was doing this with action figure characters at all, like, at the time? I think that's what's, like, lost on folks. I think some people who criticize, I don't know why they'd ever criticize this art, dude, like, when they're like, well, it's not realistic and no one's built that way. I'm like, fucking no one's built, like, Frank Quitely's characters. Nobody. Like, so? Like, who's built like a Mike Mignola character? Like, that's not the point. Unfortunately, especially in America, everyone's so damn literal. But when taking that Jim Lee Image Comics, action figure art and then applying expressions to it, I mean, it's pretty cool. A little bit of the Disney.
The way he constructs his muscles too, like that bubble muscles, like.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's why they made great action figures when McFarlane did the Danger Girl figures. I have those, like, still in the packaging and shit. But everything he draws is just meant to be a toy, right? Like,
did you ever play the PlayStation game? I know I had
the PlayStation game. I got it
at Action City. I had it in shop.
Yeah, it's not great.
No, it's not. But it was cool because you got to see all those cutscenes, and they were like all the drawn stuff.
Yeah, it needed like Naughty Dog animators. And it was very stiff. That's basically it. But what's cool, man, about this oversized edition, this danger size edition, is like, I mean, yeah, it's so hard to like. There's only so much I can show you with the camera, but like, you can really see like all these little details, like the background little graffiti and shit. Like, I think that's Thor's. Like, yeah, it's just like a Stalin hammer and shit.
See, and I love how he puts like the head right there, just floating, talking, like kind of video game style, like.
Right, like a JRPG or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just cool layout. And the montage panel up top. It's just such good storytelling.
Also, like, I personally think that the coloring isn't over rendered. I think nowadays everyone likes just put a glow rim on everything, right? Like right now, like if this were hi-fi coloring, it would all be like edge glowed, rim lit around every green. Yeah,
she peppered in Matrix green, and Sydney's blues and oranges, and
it's fairly subtle by today's standards. Good color trapping on like the lines, like pulling back the mountains where it's all purple, and then like little Mario. Who was working in Mario into their freaking layouts like at the time? Nobody, right?
Well, the Nintendo Power guy, it's probably always find a way to do that.
Yeah,
Oh
I mean the
man,
cool part is if you're one of those people who are like the lettering's too small in most comics at this size. I mean it's pretty huge. Like, it's like 12 point, 13 point type. And then let's go look at what page are we on here? Where are we at? Oh yeah. So no ads in this one either. So Danger Size doesn't come with any ads.
weird. The color on the big one, on the first panel, is that all solid one blue? It looks like there's no gradient to it, like there is in the smaller one. Maybe it's just the camera.
Wait here?
No, panel one, the boat, like the sky. It's like really bright blue on
Nah,
one side
it's
and
just some
dark on the
haze
other.
from my light. I mean, I'm trying to. I've lit my room the best I can for streaming stuff, but you're gonna get a little bit of, it's the same.
Yeah, they're pretty close. A little bit more magenta in that upper right panel on page 2 right there.
This looks like there's more yellow actually on this. Like when I actually look at it, looks like there's a little bit more yellow in this, but it's pretty minor. The only big difference in color shift would be on the cover, I would say. But yeah, I wish there was like a Danger Size version or Battle Chasers size version of Battle Chasers issue 1, right? Like battle size.
Battle
right?
size, yeah.
Everyone's got to like create their own name, right? Like Crimson, and then just go Crimson size because you have nothing to do. What else how do you pun that,
See, and I love that all the innuendo, it's all fun. It's all like, it's not overt. It's just,
it
like
really
lighthearted.
confuses me. You get, on one hand, with comic book fans these days, you get the complaints that I don't want you to sexualize things. Okay. But then, like, the same people go off and they spend all the days drawing furries doing all sorts of weird shit. I'm like, what do you care? Like, which is it? I don't know what it is. Like, especially with creator-owned material. Like, if it's your book, then that's the rules of your universe. Who cares? Like, chill out. But I don't know. I like to say some people think that's new, but man, when I was even at this time in '98, I was hearing it from. It was usually the older cats at like Comic-Con, like editors and artists who would be bitching. I don't know, man. So they don't. It's just girls with boobs and butts, and I'm like, yeah, man, that's what you were drawing in like the '70s. Just the '70s version of boobs and butts. Like I'm sorry, were the X-Men really wearing clothes? No, they were like naked with belts. Like. I mean, look at the different outfit changes she's wearing in one issue. Like, you didn't see, like, normally these characters are wearing the same costume throughout the entire issue. They're not switching. Like, she's got like a t-shirt on. She's got a different shirt on. Look at that. She's got a different shirt on here, right? She's got this, right? And look, he's drawing that 13. I imagine it's a Gen 13 reference in perspective. And then there's another outfit change, You can't overlook, like, give your characters outfit changes. It does help distance scenes,
telling time.
Scenes.
Yeah, time of day and location. God, man, I wish he was still doing interiors. It's just not lucrative,
I guess. I mean, he could resell with his name though. He could be reselling the books, so it is lucrative when it's in its 25th printing, and he's not. So I don't know,
I guess
man.
Wildsiders must have hurt that much,
Who knows? What we're gonna do in the future is I got the J. Scott Campbell, like the big book that he did with Comicraft with the interview. It's a big black and white, oversized interview book. And so we'll go through that. That has a lot of Wildsider stuff. When it was before it was announced, like that was where it was first.
Yeah, I have issue 0 and issue 2 of Wildsider.
Yeah, Joe Chiodo on the colors here, like at least the color guides, But yeah, I've always loved Chiodo's colors. I own some of his color guides from some Cyberforce stuff. We'll have to do a video on that sometime.
I think I have some Gen 13 cards that he did.
I think the thing that stands out the most to me with the book like Danger, especially Danger Girl, is just it's fun.
It's fun,
And
dude. It's just
and
fun. It's lighthearted. There's violence, but it's
there wasn't a lot of fun in mainstream books
mm.
in '98. Like what was going on Onslaught? That's not fun. Like Superman was blue. It wasn't fun, right? Like Batman was doing nothing. Like he had just come back from having his back broken. There was nothing happening there. Like this was fun, and you were seeing probably. I mean, like Scott Campbell never left Marvel. He probably would have been drawing X-Men, but like you're seeing like some of the best talent just like conjure up things that they would never be allowed to draw at the big studios. Like there's no way DC or Marvel were like, yeah, just have a whole book where no one has a superhero costume, doing James Bond like adventures. Like that wasn't happening. And then here we are. So you can like, if you're going to complain about it, well, it's not this or that. Well, what was, doing fun
What's
adventure?
not cool about James Bond and Indiana Jones, but with hot chicks? Like it's good, man. I wish it was more than 7 issues. I mean, they did those other ones, but if it's not done by Campbell, I don't really care.
Well, he gets into it in the Comic Craft interview book a little bit, where I think what changed his mind on Danger Girl was they were developing a TV series or a movie. Like was one of the two that was constantly in production. And the thing coming back from studios was that there wasn't a diverse enough cast. And so he felt like rather than retooling Danger Girl over and over again on that end, he wanted to create a book that was diverse enough, that had a young teenage. He was trying to play to the studios, at the time. And I'm all for diversity, but at the same time, if you're trying to chase a studio deal, I mean, they're gonna run you around. Like if they want to make something that you have, they're gonna make it. If they're telling you it's missing this or not having that, it's because they're trying to find a way to not make it. Like that's it. It's got nothing to do with what something is or isn't. So if you want to see an example of this in real life, Double Fine, the creators of Psychonauts, have a documentary up for Psychonauts 2. In the first episode, Tim Schafer, the creator of Psychonauts and the creator of the head of Double Fine games, was going through a list of there was like a list that they had done, a studio had done for Psychonauts, Microsoft had done, to gauge with audiences like why the game wasn't working for them. And everything that makes Psychonauts great is what they complained about. There's too much weird humor. It takes place in a summer camp. Make something that people overseas can understand because they don't have summer camp apparently in Europe. And just shit like that. And you're like, well, it is the game. If you play the game, it's great. But you're saying those are the complaints because you're trying to find a way to not make the game. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's not a legitimate criticism. Like, yeah, okay, you could have a more. Danger Girl doesn't have to be limited to 3 girls. Add 3 more.
You could have Danger Girl East, Danger Girl West. You could tie other stuff to it.
There's all sorts of things, like you could do, but that's just Danger Girl Big. I just think he got caught up in trying to get that Hollywood money, and I don't blame him, but at the same time, where did it go? Went nowhere. Sad to say. But this is a pretty cool book, Danger Girl. If you're a Danger Girl fan, I mean, look, put it on your shelf a little bit of. I mean, it's a little bit of a. I have to have a tall shelf to stand it up, Yeah,
it won't fit on the comic rack either.
Look how big this type is, though. Like,
they just blew really want you to know.
Like the normally this text, right? What do you call that? The legal text is so small you can't read it, and now it's bigger than like the logo. Like it's crazy. Yeah. But that's Danger Girl, the Danger Size edition. That's all we got. We will be back with more soon. You can find me here, sketchcraft.com. And Joe
You
doesn't do
can't
anything.
find me. No.
You might find Joe here talking. We're going to be talking about all sorts of stuff, folks. It's just basically we're going to be doing this until I can show you what I've been working on. I will have a comic book for you to hold in the next year. Just I can't talk about it right now. It's going to be pretty cool. Till next time, Joe, say goodbye.
Yeah, man, thanks. See you guys next time.